You want to know how a rusted old bridge and a postcard-perfect HOA turned my life into a county courthouse drama? I'll tell you straight. They wanted my bridge, my land, my rules be damned, and they picked the wrong guy to try to take them. My name's Tom Maddox. I raise cattle, fix tractors, and I don't negotiate with trespassers, especially when my wife's life gets tossed into the mix. Let me back up a sec. If a man's land is his kingdom, mine sits on a cedar farmhouse halfway up a hill in eastern Kentucky. Throne equals a rusted lawn chair bolted to a porch. View equals cows grazing, woods curling behind the property, and that bridge, the damn bridge, one way in, one way out. Built by my grandfather in the 70s from Appalachian oak, steel beams, and a whole lot of stubbornness. It crosses a shallow creek that swells like hell in the spring, freezes into a sheet in winter, and for 3 generations it's been my access, plain and simple, deeded, surveyed, and stamped in the county books with my name on it. Then Echo Vista moved in. 27 identical custom boxes, solar panels, bamboo fencing, shiny SUVs, modern, sustainable, HOA run. Basically a smug little suburb with an opinion, staring over the creek at the last free man in Kentucky. The first sign of trouble was a crisp envelope smelling like corporate perfume, signed by a Karen Gilmore, president of Echo Vista HOA. We'd like a neighborly discussion regarding the use of your bridge as a secondary community exit, it said. Now, I'm no spiteful man. I lend my tractor, pull folks out of ditches, let hunters pass when they ask. But that shared accessibility phrasing smelled like bureaucracy hiding behind a smile. I scribbled a reply on paper, not email, pen and ink, private land. Bridge not for public use. Not interested. Regards, Tom Maddox. Thought that was the end of it. 2 weeks later, a law firm called Pender and Lang showed up in my mailbox. All legalese about prescriptive easement, implied community benefit, and the county code. Translation: we'll try to claim your bridge for public use if you don't play nice. Hair on the back of my neck stood up. I drove straight to the county clerk, pulled my deeds, called my buddy Dale, a real estate attorney who owed me for fixing his septic last fall, and we read every line, every survey. Deed clean. Bridge sits 27 feet inside my parcel. No holes yet. Dale warned me about precedent. If people start using it regularly and I don't contest it, that's how they take a bridge without buying it. So I went on offense, put up 3 aluminum signs. Private property, no trespassing, crossing constitutes trespass, you're being recorded, 2 on posts, 1 bolted to the oak railing. I moved an old shipping container to partially block the far end, enough for my truck, not for joyriding Priuses. I even spray-painted crossing equals trespassing, on the deck in loud yellow, subtle no. They tested me. First it was photos, a man with a man-bun Subaru taking pictures from their side, later a short blonde with aviators and a clipboard. Karen in person, white Jeep at the bridge edge, arms crossed. Corporate smile that never reached her eyes. She asked for mutual benefit and civic responsibility. I told her I raise cattle, not committees, and that my road stayed mine. She left, tires crunching gravel like a warning. That's when the chip job started. Not direct force, but boundary testing, seeds of doubt sown into the neighborhood. One morning I found a laminated placard zip-tied just past my line. Temporary community detour authorized by Echo Vista HOA, arrows pointing straight at my bridge. No call, no courtesy, just a sign like it was a hiking trail. I ripped it out, burned it, and set the cams up. Trail cams, motion sensors, a cheap DVR for bullet cameras on poles. I ran wires like a raccoon crawling under the porch and mounted timestamps that would make a forensics guy salivate. If they crossed the bridge, I'd have them on film. And they crossed in 2s and 3s. A yoga pants Tesla pretending to check her phone while hovering at the edge, a delivery van turning back at the cameras, some idiot on a bike circling at 2 a.m., raccoon-level testing. Each incident got logged, date, time, license plate when possible. I even dragged a half-ton hay trailer across the bridge and chained it to a cinder block, enough to let my truck through, not their SUVs. It worked for a minute, but Karen brought backup. 2 men in collared shirts and lanyards measuring, taking photos, pulling maps out of a folder with red circles over my bridge. They were compiling a case, historical use, communal value, trying to manufacture a right. I slept less and worked more. I upgraded the cams, infrared motion sensors, a busted laptop as a license plate capture rig, timestamp watermarking plugin, about $500 and an awful lot of elbow grease, but worth it. I watched, waited, recorded. Life on the farm, diesel smell, cows snorting, coffee in the morning, became an evidence-gathering routine. And then the day came when life and law collided head-on. It was a blue, ordinary morning. Catherine, my wife, sounded off on the kitchen call. "Tom," she said, voice thinner than normal. I dropped the mug before standing. She clutched her chest, skin pale, breath short, classic signs of a heart event. I gave her a nitro tab, called 911, told them the gravel road past the solar farm, crossed the bridge, dispatch said ETA 25 minutes. I counted seconds like they were coins you couldn't lose. 23 minutes later I heard sirens, and then silence. Not arrival, but a stop. I ran and saw a white Jeep parked across the bridge, hood up, headlights blinking, perpendicular, a deliberate barricade. Across the windshield someone had scrawled in black marker, "Call me. We need to discuss access." Karen. For a moment my brain misread the scene. Then I saw the EMTs standing beside their ambulance, confused. "We can't cross," one said. "No clearance." No one inside the Jeep. I did what any man with a dying wife and a stubborn streak does. I fired up the John Deere, looped a tow chain around the Jeep, and pulled like hell. The tractor smoked, the chain groaned, and the Jeep teetered over the edge before dropping into the rocky creek with a noise like metal heartbreak. Water splashed, a mirror flew, the alarm wailed then muffled underwater. The ambulance rushed Catherine across. They loaded her in under a minute. "Tell her I love her," I said, and the rig peeled away with red lights carving the air. Then, because life has a sense of humor, the county called me about vehicle destruction. Karen had the gall to file claims. She said I'd destroyed her vehicle in a fit of rage. I watched it back on my DVR, Jeep parked, Karen walking away smiling with a folder, not popping the hood, not making mechanical fuss. This was staged. Dale called later, laughing until he choked. The Jeep wasn't even in Karen's name. It was registered to her son in Atlanta, and the insurance lapsed in February. Perfect. She'd set the trap with someone else's car. Court became the next act. Echo Vista sued me for damages. I countersued for malicious interference with emergency services, trespass with intent, and reckless endangerment. Dale and I gathered the stack, camera footage, EMT statements, GPS-aligned surveys proving the bridge sits squarely on my land, the Jeep's registration and insurance records, and the timeline showing Karen filed her complaint before I even gave the sheriff a statement. We were ready. Karen strutted into court like she owned the courthouse, pearls and blazer, her lawyer with a map aged to look old, claiming a 1968 survey proved historical shared use, a route through my property. Dale asked for a forensic review. The paper was laser stock from after 2005, fonts created in the 2000s, a duplicated county seal. The judge saw it, and his face did that thing judges' faces do when they spot a forgery, not impressed. The exhibit got withdrawn faster than you can say subpoena. Dale played our case like a fiddle. Pause the footage where Karen walks away smiling from her car, play the EMT audio about delayed access, lay down the vehicle records, then the medical report. Catherine diagnosed with acute coronary syndrome. A delay could have killed her. The judge didn't dance around it. He warned about obstructing emergency services being criminal and sent the file to the district attorney. A few days later the DA called open criminal investigation on obstruction, trespass, and falsified court documents. Karen went from HOA queen to administrative leave in an email chain that blew up their board. She cut a deal, pled guilty to obstruction and forgery, paid fines and restitution, probation and a ban from HOA leadership for 5 years. Dale grinned like a man who'd just seen the sun come up, and I felt a kind of satisfaction that's more relief than gloating. The bridge got its legal shield, precedent set, private, protected, not to be annexed with fake papers and glossy lies. We didn't stop at paperwork. I poured industrial-grade concrete under the main supports, 6 footings, rebar and mesh, the kind of work that says this is not temporary. I installed retractable bollards, RFID access, infrared license plate recognition, upgraded cameras with cloud backup, and a few non-lethal deterrents. All legal if nobody gets hurt, the sheriff said. As long as you got signage, we're not asking questions. Big signs went up, private road, no access, trespassers will be identified. And for the aesthetic touch, I welded a metal plaque into a boulder facing their side. Private road, access by permission only. I put a few leftover Jeep parts in a trench as a reminder, little fossils of hubris. Life settled into a better rhythm. Catherine recovered. She paints the bridge in stormy blues now, a quiet trophy above the mantel, and neighbors who once whispered came around to help mend the fence, bring pies, apologize. The HOA meetings went quieter, hedges planted along the edge. Zoom used more than in-person gatherings, and Ronald Cheney, the interim chair, sent me a $100 Cracker Barrel gift card, which I mailed back with a sticky note. Keep your biscuits. Keep your distance. Word got out. Folks from Tennessee, Arkansas, Georgia reached out asking about signs, cameras, when to call a lawyer. I started answering, not as a lawyer, God no, just as a rancher who learned paperwork and cameras beat petty power plays. They called me the Creek Defender on some forum. Someone made a dumb meme of me as a medieval knight hoisting a jeep like Excalibur. I taped it on the fridge and laughed. A few weeks later, the county designated the bridge as a protected private access point. Bureaucratic name, real protection. No HOA, no private developer, no forged history could claim it without my written consent. I signed the papers with Catherine by my side, same flannel I'd worn the day I pulled the Jeep into the creek. We walked to the center of the bridge one morning, mist on the creek, broken plastic poking up between stones, little fossils of a fight that nearly cost a life. I left them there. Reminders are good. So that's the story: bridge, Jeep, courtrooms, concrete, and a lot of stubbornness. We built walls not to keep the world out, but to keep what mattered in. Now I want to ask you, when someone claims they're acting for the community, who's policing them? When safety becomes the mask for power plays, who do you trust, courts, neighbors, or your own 2 eyes and a DVR? Drop your story below. Tell me if you'd have done the same. And if you know someone being pressured by an HOA or a local power broker, share this. Sometimes knowing you ain't alone is the start of the right fight.